I said, empty your mind. Be formless, shapeless, like water.
What's up, everybody? This is the Offscouring Odyssey, back with episode 6. And as you can tell, today we are not in the normal studio. We are in an apartment in Manhattan, New York, with our special guest today. Her name is Leanne Ansar. She's a storyteller and a social ambassador for the French Embassy in the United States of America. So,
hello, bonjour.
This is Leanne. How are you, Leanne?
I'm wonderful. I'm so happy that you're here.
Oh, thank you for having us. It's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you.
This is a great opportunity. Yes, always. So for many people listening, many people actually like the audience listening, they don't know you as well as they will soon, but we're going to express you the best way we can to them. And you're a unique person, very exotic, who clearly it's working in a very well way for yourself. So let's just start about, where did you start? Like, I know a little bit about your background, but starting about high school or college, let's talk about how you got here today, what you did to get here today, because I know about the blog and website as well. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
So we can say that my life is a little bit complicated, so I'm just going to try to make it as simple as possible. So first thing first, I'm French American, so born in France, raised in the United States. And so I've basically taken my, let's say, identity and used it to brand and market my brand today.
And what age did you come over to America to grow up here?
So I came here to the United States, I believe, 5 or 6 years old.
Okay.
My mother came here, 2 kids, single mom, 7 suitcases.
Oh, goodness.
And started a whole new life in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful city. My girlfriend's actually from there as well.
Oh, really? Ah, Steelers.
So, yeah. You grew up in America, correct?
Yeah, so I grew up in America, but every summer and winter I would go back to France, and that's why I was able to keep the language, the culture alive.
Yeah.
And so I really like to say that I'm both when people ask me where I'm from. And so during my college years, I decided I wanted to go back to France. I had met a young Frenchman during one of my summers, and boom, buddy, bam, we went over, and I moved to Toulouse in France. And so I lived in France for about another 5 years.
For schooling?
For schooling.
Okay.
And then for my master's in international business, I had to have an internship.
Okay.
And that internship, I actually got it in New York City.
Doing what? What was the internship?
International sales coordinator.
Oh, goodness. That just sounds important.
Yeah. Yeah, it was great. And I was with the company for almost 3 years.
Okay.
Yeah. And then, so I had a bunch of corporate jobs. And then during COVID, I was like, well, I kind of want to go full time. I think now is my time to invest all that time for myself.
So while you were doing the internship, what did you do to, because did you have the website?
The blog.
You have a blog that you started. When did you start that?
So I started that about 7 years ago. So I was in between that period between my bachelor's and my master's, and I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what the next step is. You know, society is always telling us, like, you're going to get married and you have to have your job. And I was just so lost. Yes. I didn't know what the next step was. So my mother told me, she's like, let's go on a trip together. Let's have a mother-daughter trip. So we went to, it sounds insane, but we went to Thailand and Vietnam. Sorry, it's very privileged to say. I know I'm very privileged.
That sure is a trip.
It sure is a trip, and it was very cheap to stay there. We were there for about 4 or 5 months. And my mother was already blogging. So she was a single woman traveling the world, and that's what she would blog about.
And what, just her travels and what she did day-to-day basis?
And how to travel as a single woman.
Okay.
Which is harder in some countries. And she's like, why don't you start a travel blog? You live in France. You can get a Ryanair or an EasyJet for 20 euros. You can be in Italy. You can be in London. You can be in Portugal. You can be in Spain. And I was like, you know what, Mom? I'm going to do that. So it's actually because of my mom that I started my website.
That's awesome. You listen to your mom.
Yeah, I listen to my mom. My mom knows what to do.
Clearly, it worked out very well.
Yeah, and yeah.
So you started it in the middle of your years going between the college in France and coming here for your master's, correct?
Yes.
So how did you operate going to school, getting your master's, getting an internship for a company, and also starting this website of your own, the blog? Like, how did you manage all your time? Because I know it took a lot out of yourself.
Yes. Thank you for saying that. People don't realize how much work it actually is.
Yes, it does take a lot of time, guys. So you may not think it's easy.
So what happened was whenever I moved to New York for my internship, all my friends were in France or in Pennsylvania. I had no friends here. I knew zero people. So I worked all that time on my internship and then my corporate job and then my blog. I worked so much on it because I really didn't have any friends. It's hard to go into this huge city. I felt like a tiny rat on this big island with all these people. And eventually I worked so hard on my blog that it started growing pretty quickly. And I started making friends through the platform.
Through your blog?
Yeah.
Okay, and people, what would they reach out to you and say, hey, I like your content, I like what you're writing about?
Yes, so I had a lot of similar people like me who either were French, so kind of built this French community here in New York, or a lot of people that like to over-romanticize life like me, and we were able to meet up, and I to this day, I still meet up with people all the time. Every time that I go back to Paris, I always meet at least one person.
Like brand new? You meet someone from the blog or just...
From the blog.
Okay.
Or from the social media account, usually Instagram.
Okay. Yeah, because you are very big on the Instagram.
Yeah, me will be like, hey, I'd love to go and get a coffee with you. And I say yes.
And you'll just do it?
Oh, yes.
Wow. You see, not many people do that on Instagram.
I do it all the time.
Okay. It's very nice of you.
Yeah.
Because you probably make someone's day every day you're there.
It's not that. They make my day. And I truly love people. And I think everyone has an amazing story. And I love to meet them.
Well, that's a huge reason why I do the podcast, because I think everyone has their own story. Mm-hmm. A big thing that I want people to take out of this is you're diving into a whole different person's perspective of life and their own journey throughout life. Mm-hmm. So the whole purpose of this is to hear someone else's story and experience and take knowledge and information from them and see how you can flourish as well through all the knowledge you'd obtain from the podcast. Mm-hmm. But that's besides the point.
No, that's why I love meeting new people too. So you get it.
Hey, yeah, I get it 100%. I respect it too. So, at what point did you realize that your blog was doing so well and that you could actually get a grasp of this?
So it was actually during COVID that everything started to kind of explode. About a year and a half ago, I had to leave due to COVID reasons.
Leave the country?
No, my job.
Okay.
I had to leave my job due to COVID reasons about a year and a half ago. So I went from 30K followers to 300,000 followers in a year.
A year. That is a lot of growth.
A year and a half. Yeah.
And where do you think all this growth came from? All this momentum came from?
Well, since COVID, people have been on social media 50% more than they have been ever in their life.
Because they have nothing else to do, so they might as well just go on the app. And
Exactly. So that helped my growth. And because I was investing so much time in another company, mm-hmm. I was able to invest all the time in myself. Okay. And I like to work, mm-hmm. and I feel anxious if I'm not working. So I use all my time to work, but I love it. And I'm so happy that it finally started paying off. After, as you know, 6-7 years.
Yes, it surely did pay off.
In this year and a half.
Yeah, wow. So were you almost bamboozled with the amount of people and the following base you got? Yes. How did you react to all these people?
At one point, I think it was around 80,000 followers in underneath a month. And I was like, what is going on?
And are you where are you at during this time? Are you in the United States or France?
I was
during COVID.
I was in the United States.
Okay.
Yeah, we
I just
were in
wanted-
this tiny apartment that you are in right now.
This is a beautiful apartment, by the way, everyone. This is stellar. I can't believe we're in here.
It's beautiful, but during COVID with my boyfriend.
Oh, yeah, you're going crazy, I bet. Huh?
Yeah.
Hey, I understand that. I could.
We love him, but
Yeah, you can only deal so much as such a time frame. I get what you're saying.
in a small amount of space. Yeah.
But so during COVID, you started to blow up.
Yep.
Now, for the audience viewing, they go on your Instagram, they find you, they can clearly see you have like a vintage aspect and artistic value that you express. Is this what you think really grasps people's attention when you were blowing up on social media, and also were you expressing it on the blog very well as well? This like vintage aspect of yourself?
So I definitely think that's what set me apart in the beginning. New York, primarily Instagrammers, influencers, TikTokers. It was very street style here in New York. It was very hipster. It was very Brooklyn. And then I kind of came here trying to bring France or Paris, the over romanticizing, to New York. And I think that's kind of what set me apart because people really didn't see that as much before.
I don't see it at all. Besides when I view you and what you do.
Thank
to be honest
you,
with you. So
thank you. Well, I feel like I'm seeing a lot of people do it now, so it's kind of interesting to see how it wasn't that before and now. And
by you mean like what they're doing? Do you mean like the style they're dressing, the way they're approaching life?
I think it's a way like other influencers are now seeing that they can also over romanticize their life. They can go to a fruit market, pick up some fruit, and find it magic.
Yeah.
Or they can go to a bookstore, choose their book, and find that even more beautiful than what it was before.
Well, I remember that. Are you into the CDs? What are they? The
records.
Records. Are you into that? Because
we have a record player right over here with a bunch of records.
Yeah, because I remember seeing on your story you were into you were in the shop and you were viewing all the old records you were finding, and you saw there was something about these that really caught your eye. Is that how you are with almost like everything?
I like to think that what I show on my Instagram is how I am actually. I think so. I really have a love for I guess vintage items, artisanship, which I think is losing value today. Everyone wants everything so quick. Everything needs to be so fast. Yeah. Everything is plastic.
They call it that American time.
The quick. No, but I really enjoy hearing how long a clock, how long it took to make, and how many parts it took to bring it.
Wow.
Like the work behind a single object.
Really?
Yes.
That's very interesting.
Yeah, if that makes any sense.
It makes sense to me, but I just want to express to the people as best I can.
Yeah.
So, did you almost... I'm not saying it's the most respectful way. Did people look at you as almost not crazy, but what is she up to? What is she about?
Well, I think right now I've had some feedback. I mean, luckily a lot of good feedback, but I've had some negative feedback. Who are you pretending to be? This is not natural. And I understand where they're coming from, but this is not me pretending. This is I kind of see my job as acting. Okay. I like pretending that I'm on a movie. I'm in a movie. If Sophia Loren is eating pasta, she's not gonna eat it like you actually eat it. She's gonna be eating in the air, doing it very romantically, and I'm gonna do it that same way.
But you live that way.
Not all the time.
Okay.
But I seem to, because my job has me doing this all the time. I seem to living that way a little bit more and more each day. Yes.
Okay, I see what you're saying. What have you always been into the all this vintage stuff your whole life? When did you catch up on it, or when did it catch your eye?
I think I grew up very feminine.
Okay.
And I say that because I grew up around my mother. Here she comes again.
Yes.
She was always, when we were in the countryside in Pennsylvania, a small town called Beaver County. So it's insane. And so you see my mother in a long dress, her high heels, her red hair, with her French accent.
Oh, goodness.
And I just saw my mother being unapologetic
Unapologetically.
Yes.
Unapologetically.
Herself. And I love that. And I was like, I want to be like my mother. And I was wearing heels at school before other people wore heels. Like,
Yeah.
I loved it. And I think when being feminine isn't cool, it felt like cool. It was cooler to be like, I guess, in jeans. And I actually only owned one pair of jeans until maybe, actually, I think I only own one pair of jeans right now.
Wow. I'll give you a lot of props.
No, I love dresses.
Well, hey, you're being yourself.
I'm being
I think that's the
myself.
best way to be. Be yourself, be authentic. Like, clearly, it's working the best way possible for yourself, you know? I think everyone should be their self no matter what. Don't change for anybody, even if people are hating on you.
It's hard because society really tries to mold you on telling you what's normal
Mhm.
and what you're supposed to act like and what normal is. And I feel like, no, you could just be yourself.
Yeah, you have to be yourself.
You have to be yourself.
Now, relating to that, do you think a lot of the people nowadays are not themselves because there's so many things like affecting them, affecting who they are? They care about what other people think. What do you say about like what others say? Like they just disregard them, right?
Yeah, I think it goes back to our generations as well. I think the millennial generation, we kind of grew up with wanting to either be a part of the cool cheerleaders or the cool football players. Whereas now, I mean, I might be mistaken, but I see the Gen Zers here are themselves, are happy to be themselves, are making changes, are making movements. And I actually talked to my boyfriend's little sister about it. I was like, you guys are so happy to be yourselves, and it's so beautiful. I feel like I didn't have that growing up. And she told me, she's like, yeah, but now we're all trying to be so different.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's the problem. So what is the right answer? I don't know.
Okay, I respect. Yeah, everyone is trying to be something different. Well, I think it's also because there's so many outlets nowadays. Like to be honest with you, people do have the opportunities to be different in every way possible with the way like the world has placed everything, the opportunities and outlets. I keep repeating myself, but that it forgives us and displays for us. Like we can use these things to be so many different ways of ourselves, but I think at the same time, we're overusing them.
Yes.
And we're being someone we're completely not.
Yeah, so it's hard finding out who you are. And I actually think that social media has helped me find out who I am because I display it so much. It's kind of weird to say, but I think I actually found myself through social media.
Wow, you don't hear that often either.
No.
So I respect that.
It's true.
You saying that, do you think a lot of people look at your social media and almost you inspire them to be more as this aesthetic? And they find themselves through the way you did?
I mean, I feel like a lot of people are inspired everywhere. I don't want to say that I'm like their sole inspiration. I don't want to say that. It's more, so I think people do tell me that I inspired them to create certain things. And it's just, it's beautiful to see that I'll go on social media and I see a girl like, and she tagged me. She's like, I'm trying to be Leanne Ansar. It's kind of cute. Yeah. And I see her and she's like picking up, I don't know, books off the floor, or I don't know.
Makes you smile.
It makes me smile, and it looks like it makes them smile and makes them happy. So if they're happy, I'm happy.
Yeah, it's those little things that matter the most, you know?
Yep.
So with you bringing over this French like romanticizing, correct?
Yep.
Aspect of yourself over to the United States, what do you think is very almost like different from the United States and France itself on that level of like romanticizing? Do you think we don't appreciate it enough? Do you think like, did I word that correctly?
No, and I think I'm trying to, I understand what you say.
Because they say like Americans are very like, not mean, but.
Oh, they actually say the opposite.
Oh.
For me, they think French people are rude and mean, and Americans are very nice and happy and bubbly and outgoing.
Really?
Oh, 100%.
So that's what you hear here? Or?
Oh, I mean.
Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't know that.
Stereotypically, like, yeah.
But I always hear that, like, the French people are always, like, so, like, almost, like, friendly and nice and, like...
I'm happy that you hear that. You're the first person that tells me that.
So I played hockey growing up, and the Canadians speak French.
Canadians are very sweet people.
Oh, not in hockey. They hate playing,
no?
They hate playing the Americans. Yeah, because it's their sport, I guess.
Yes, it is.
So they hate us for hockey.
Yep.
But, so in middle school, I took French. Spanish never intrigued me. Never. So
I'm happy that you chose French.
I took French. Like I had like Je m'appelle Bobby, et vous, enchanté.
Yeah,
I know a
you got
little
some.
bit of stuff. Like bien et vous.
Yes.
Like that's not like good. How are you? Right.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I know a little bit about it. But I took it in middle school and I liked it a lot. And I always thought like French, like what I saw from the French class was that French was all these kind people who would reach out to others and like it's very romantic, as you said, romanticized.
Yes, I do believe in what you could have been, let's say, inspired to say that by is the French language is a lot more detailed, respectful, and
I
kind.
can see how you say.
That's why they also say the romantic languages. So yes, the American language is basically more direct, has less of those respect words where we have like vous. And is the formal
for a girl or guy, right? Or formal for elderly or like
like the elderly or someone that you work for, or just to be respectful and kind to people when you're going to the store. Like
I totally forgot about that. They do have.
So we have our own language just for being more respectful. Like,
I think that's
our own words. I mean,
I think it's a great aspect to have.
So maybe that's maybe why you're coming for more kind.
It may be that, to be honest with you. I don't know, because when I got to high school, they didn't have French, so I had to take Arabic.
Oh, that's pretty neat.
Yeah, but it was pretty hard. Pretty hard.
Bet.
Yeah,
that's cool though.
I'm not. I only really took it because I knew the teacher. My best friend's brother was a teacher.
Oh, cool.
And he actually took time in somewhere in the Middle East to learn it like fluently.
Wow.
So he was the teacher, and he helped me get by a little. But I like French by far the most. That's why I said on the phone call, even like I would love for you to teach me more French.
Oh, I can help.
I really want you to help me.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly that. We'll talk about it afterwards, but I do want to learn some more French.
Sounds good.
But yeah, so do you personally think the French are more not mean, but disrespectful, or do you think it's us?
No, I think the French are very respectful. I think there's of course cultural differences.
Of course.
I think the stereotype is that French people are rude, right? And I think that comes a lot from people who are traveling to Paris and who are going to, let's say, restaurants. And servers, it's like one server for the whole restaurant. Whereas in the United States, you'll have 5 servers for one restaurant.
How come they only have one server?
That's just how it is over there. And so the server is not going to be smiling at you, asking like, "Hi, how are you? What would you like to eat today?" No, they're just trying to get your order in.
Yeah.
There's no tipping in France either.
Is it included in the bill?
It's included in the bill. So they're not going to smile and try to make you happy and feel good.
They're already getting their money.
They're already getting their money, and they have a million other tables. So I can understand why people can think that maybe French people are rude. But no, it's just normal, like, it's a culture thing.
Now, do they all dress as you do there?
No.
Like, how do you stand out there?
I don't know, actually.
Hey,
I like to think that I'm really between France and America. I don't know which one I am more, so I like to say that I'm in the middle.
Well, in your bio says French American, right? Okay.
And I'm really proud of it, and it makes me sad when people are like, "Do you think you're French more, or do you think you're American more?" And I don't have that answer. I'm both, and I'm really proud of it.
Now, you may give me the same answer back, but what do you like more, France or the United States? What do you like more? Yeah,
that's a hard one. So I like to say France. I love France. I think France to live because of healthcare reasons, free healthcare.
Oh, really?
Education. I mean, you can get your master's there for free. Yes, like programs. It's just like it's a country that wants to help you succeed.
How is the schooling system different than ours though?
Yes.
Okay, so coming back from that, you have visited a lot of countries, correct?
Yes. I think about maybe 30.
30? Oh my goodness. What are the top 5?
Ooh.
Top 5 most beautiful.
Top 5 most beautiful. I have to say Vietnam. Halong Bay.
Halong Bay?
Halong Bay is one of the most beautiful places I've ever been in my life. We were on a boat and just clear, calm waters, and you just see these huge rock formations coming out of
Really?
the water. It was incredible. Yes. And then of course I have to say number 2 is very stereotypical one, but Italy.
Yeah.
You are gorgeous. Your people sing. You have amazing culture. And history and architecture. Italy definitely is in the top.
Uh-huh. Oh, I actually have to ask one thing about
Yes.
it. Did you see? Is it in? I'm just going to ask it.
Yeah.
The Colosseum.
Yes, I did.
Have
in
you
Rome.
seen that? Yeah, Rome. Yes. Is that?
I have seen it a couple times.
Yeah, it's gnarly. I want to say gnarly.
Yeah. It's definitely gnarly. It's stunning. You go there, you kind of don't believe that you're there, and you try to pick up the pamphlet because you're trying to learn as much as you can about it.
Well, I think that place is wild because that's where like the old warriors would fight. You know, that's where like the best of the best made it out alive. I guess you'd say survival of the fittest.
100%. And it's just interesting because one of the things that they did the most, which you hear more about, of course, gladiators, but also a lot of hunting. So they would put either bears or lions in there and have people fight the animals.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah.
Did not know that.
It's pretty cool.
Huh. Yeah. Okay. Well, very interesting. Learn something new every day.
Yes.
So following the list, what's after Italy?
And I have to say my country of France.
Yes.
I mean, we have the mountains, we have the oceans, we have the nature, and we have, definitely. So even though it's where I'm from, I do think it's one of the most beautiful places I've been to.
What sports are big over there?
Football, American soccer.
Soccer. Okay.
Sorry, I'm trying to. Yeah, soccer.
Huh.
Yeah, soccer is huge over there.
Rugby.
Oh, huge.
Wow.
Yes.
My friend group actually plays rugby. Most of them.
Really?
Yeah. My buddy Vinny, who is the one who told me about the Coliseum. He went to Rome, Italy.
Yeah.
Buddy of mine, Will Bumpernick, he actually goes to Penn State and plays there. They're like top 3 every year.
Oh, wow.
He goes there. Then another buddy who goes to a school at a North Carolina school, but they all try to get me to play. I'm not a rugby guy. I can't do rugby.
Yeah.
Ice hockey's me, but not rugby. Yeah, I don't like the fact that every time I go to a practice or see a practice or a game, there's an ambulance. So,
there is. It's true. They're always hurting themselves.
Yeah, no, I don't like that. But
so that's definitely a huge sport over there.
Okay.
And then those are definitely my top 3.
I saw you went to South Africa on your website. How was that?
Yes, I have. Oh, absolutely breathtaking. I mean, that's actually, I think I have to put that on my list.
Yeah? South Africa?
Yes, South Africa. The people, kindest people, just lovely people, and the animals. You're just surrounded by nature and the safaris.
Wow.
And it's great, yeah.
I bet.
And most stunning beaches I've ever seen.
Is it like a jungle everywhere you look?
Depending on where you're at in South Africa, we went to Hoedspruit, and I hope that I'm saying that correctly. Joburg, Cape Town, yeah.
My school actually goes to Cape Town for its trip.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's a good place to go. You should go.
They went there. I chose Peru. I went to Peru.
Oh, that's
14
amazing.
Days. Yeah.
Did Machu Picchu?
Yeah, I climbed it. Yeah, I climbed Mount Machu Picchu.
So cool.
I was also in this town, Lante Tambo. Have you ever heard of it? It's this town in the middle of the mountains where I think it was the Incas were there.
Yes.
And that was stunning as well. But
yes.
yeah, that's like our field trip.
Oh, that's a cool field trip to go to.
It was awesome. Went to Lima, Cusco, all those places. Yeah.
So cool.
Beautiful. I actually, in my studio, the painting that sits behind me, it's this art piece. And this guy in Cusco came up to, we actually went up to him. He was selling art that he made with charcoal. And I guess he saw us and we looked interested. I guess like we were Americans looking to buy some, I guess. And he was like, I have some at my house. Like, would you want to come? And like we had a teacher with us and they were like, okay. Yeah. Like the teacher came with us and he about maybe the size of like the apartment, like this part of it. And everywhere, all the walls were just covered in different art that he did. And so I got an art piece that I saw it stood out right away. Awesome. And no one else has it in the world, but I have it right up my wall.
Wow.
Yeah. So.
Oh, you got that great memory, and now you can think about it every time.
Exactly that.
Yeah.
So that's just a little story about Peru. But
love it.
So, do you have one more to cap off the list?
So one more to cap off the list, and it's going to be somewhere that I want to go to that I believe might be one of the most beautiful places in the world, rather than I have not been there yet. So my boyfriend is actually Persian Italian. So I'd really love to go to Iran.
Okay.
And the mosques, the rich culture, the history, not the regime, of course, but I'm sure that it's going to be one of the most beautiful places.
Really?
That
Think
I've ever
so?
been to. I know so.
Okay.
Yes.
And do you have a set date to plan to go there or no?
Well, hopefully, like once we get married in the future, like our
Yes.
honeymoon, we want it to be there.
That's awesome. I think that would be a great spot for the honeymoon.
Yep.
So actually, like I said, it was about your boyfriend, but this is about you. So I'll wait till later. Have you ever been to Egypt? Have you ever seen the pyramids?
No, but that was actually one of our spots. That's funny that you say that.
Okay,
that we wanted to go to really bad. Have you been?
No, but I'm going to ask you a question later in the podcast,
Yep.
and you'll see why I'm a big fan of the pyramids. It's probably the one place on this earth I do want to see.
Oh wow!
But because everything about like the religion of the Egyptian civilizations, like the religion they studied, like the Egyptian gods, how they built the pyramids, which will be connected to later. Like everything about that interests me. How like I'll talk about it later. But
no, I get it.
So every time you travel to these countries, continents, do you blog each one, or do you take some for like a personal experience yourself?
So I used to do the travel blogging more before.
Okay.
But now I've really switched over to lifestyle, fashion, French and English learning, rather than the travel that I used to do. But I used to do like listicles. So the top 10 things to do in Rome.
Oh,
the top 10 things to do in Florence.
I feel like I watch those for each country on YouTube, so I know exactly.
So
what
I used to do things like that, but now I've definitely shifted to more of like social media, which is primarily Instagram, TikTok, and actually I'm pretty big on a Chinese platform called Red.
Really?
Yes.
It's called Red, and what is it? Is it video as well?
So it's like the Chinese Instagram.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's somewhere that's growing really fast.
Okay, I'll have to look into that. Red.
Yeah.
Interesting. So when you approach like uploading on your blog, and how often do you upload to it?
I don't really use the blog anymore, but my social media handles, I post every day.
Okay. And how do you think of all like new content and like ideas to post? That must be a job itself, right?
Yes. So I'm pretty lucky that ideas just come to me. Like I'll be outside and I see someone doing something and I'm like, oh, like it's just natural everyday things.
Really?
Yeah, or I'll see like really funny. I was on the street yesterday and I have a photo shoot tomorrow and I don't know what I'm going to do. I was on the street and I saw a Rubik's Cube and I'm like, how cool would it be to do a shoot with a Rubik's Cube? I've never seen anyone do it.
Never.
It's different. And I think that you have to keep bringing in these new fresh ideas because how many photos with a book can you do?
Yeah,
how many photos with fruit can you do? So I like incorporating new objects or new things, which I think makes me stand out a little bit.
It definitely does stand out, everything you do.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm actually going to ask a question based off that. What do you think it is about you? It can be a few things. It could be just a simple answer like the romanticizing. But what do you think that you do so well and express so well that you do grab an audience and you do attract an audience? What do you think you personally do so well to get this fan base almost?
Honestly, I just find myself truly lucky. I don't know what they see in me. I hope that they see my sincerity, that I'm authentic, that I would never ever try to sell something to them that I personally wouldn't use or wear myself. And I hope that my transparency is why they like me, that they can feel it. Yeah.
Well, here's a question. So I understand what you're saying exactly. Now, if you were pulled out of your body in a third person point of view, now like third person point of view would almost be like one of us in the room, like viewing yourself, right? We can clearly tell why you do stand out. You don't see that at all?
No.
No. Not at all.
No.
So like, do you like almost like, yes, we're all equal, but do you think like we're all just like I'm like in the most respectful way. Like I do love what you do.
Yeah.
Like, do you see us all like yourself? Like this. I don't know how to say it. I really don't know how to say it. So we might have to pass on this question. But
I mean, maybe to answer it, well, I think that I just got lucky.
yeah.
And I think that I am motivated. So, and I used my persistence and ambition to get to where I am today because I did work hard.
Okay.
But I do think a lot more people can do things if they motivate themselves. So I do think we're all on the same page. It's just about that motivation.
And what it takes to get there.
Exactly.
Hey, I understand what you get 100%. 100%. So the question I'm about to ask you is a question I do ask every guest relating to the Egyptian pyramids.
Okay.
So what is, a girl in college asked me this and I thought it was amazing because everyone had a different answer. What is one thing on the earth that you know is 100% real? So I'll give you a few examples.
Yes, thank you.
So one of them, for example, was a buddy of mine, Vinny, said love is real, 100% real. So like the feeling and connection you have towards someone or something, that connection and feeling and emotion of love is 100% real. Another one relating to the pyramids. Now I know for 100% that the pyramids were not just like average human made. So it took more than just like the average human of all of us standing in the room to make the pyramids. Like, regarding like the pulley system, like telepathically, like it was more than just the average human. That's like I know 100%. That's real.
Okay.
Yeah. So
I think I actually know my answer.
Oh, okay. That was quick. Okay.
Yeah, just because I do believe that this is real.
Okay.
And it's controversial. Magic. Magic is real.
Oh, wait. I'm gonna hit you with something. What type of magic? Because I did magic.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll tell you what kind of magic.
Okay, yeah.
So magic in everyday things. Stars are magical. Clouds moving in the sky are magical. Someone making a child is magical. And everyone thinks that magic is a witch or fairies and like, I don't know, Peter Pan.
Card tricks.
Card tricks. No, but I'm talking about like
magic.
Everything is magical. The light turning on is magical. The sun going down, the sun going up is magic. It's just what people think magic is. Like you're saying, like your card tricks.
Yes.
I think magic is real.
Your form of magic is like life almost, like everything going on around us.
Yes.
Huh, so now I'm going to hit you with a question that's a big conspiracy within the world. So you think like everything going around us is like magic, right? Correct?
Correct.
A lot of people think we're in a simulation.
It feels like that.
Could you relate it to that? Do you think it is a simulation, or do you think it like your form of magic? Because simulation and magic are two different things. Simulation, it's like it's all like happening for a reason, or there's someone else behind the scenes.
I understand that. I don't think. I mean, that can open up a whole other conversation.
You can do whatever you like. Yeah, I'm just
I mean, it's just. But I think I'm going to stick to my kind of magic and how that makes me feel happy and how that makes me feel calm and how it makes me feel good, which as a simulation can be very freaky in many ways.
Yes.
But knowing that magic is real, like to me, makes me feel good. So.
Okay. Oh, yeah, I respect. That was a great answer. You knew right off the top of your head.
When you asked me, I was like, I'll tell you.
I like it. So, do you think, if you do think everything around us going on is a sort of like a magic going on, do you think there's like necessarily, this is maybe a very diverse question, but do you think there's necessarily like a purpose of life, or like each person has their own purpose? If you could take your time on this. I know that was a very hard.
I think we have a small amount of time on this earth, and everyone's anxieties are different, and everyone's purpose may be different. But I think it's not about purpose or anything like that. It's more so is how can you feel good the time that you're on this planet?
Okay.
Like how you're going to live and you're going to die.
Yes. No matter what.
No matter what. So how can you have the best experience?
By being yourself.
And that's going to be it.
Okay.
And not harder to look at, but finding peace in knowing, and by making, even by the sun going down being magic, making life more beautiful.
Okay. I like that answer because I think when people hear that, a lot of people are going to look at that and be like, let me be myself as you do very well. Let me be authentic. And that's how I should. Let me live life in my own happiness rather than someone else's.
Exactly. And that's, I think, where you're going to find your peace. It took me a long time to find my peace and a long time to be okay with death. And honestly, I'm still having a hard time with it.
Well, I am as well. Death is one thing that scares me up the
Exactly.
wazoo. Yeah.
But the more that we're worrying about it, the more we're hurting ourselves. So finding your own magic in every day in life can make your life better.
I like that. I like that a lot. I really do. I think a lot of people will like that as well.
Good.
So,
I mean, I don't know how you can top that.
Yeah, that was a good one. I'm not going to lie. That was
what can you ask after that question?
One of the best. One of the best. Well, that's a huge reason I like asking those sort of questions is because, like, no one has the same answer. No, everyone has their own source of happiness. Everyone has their own source of, like, what they think is 100% real. So, like, say if I never asked that question to each guest, I would never find, like, that answer. I would never see that. And I think this answer helps a lot of people, the audience listening, because it gives, I don't want to say why, because it helps people in each different way, but I think it really does help people no matter what, because that's the whole thing I'm trying to present to people and take from this is just gain knowledge that can help yourself and allow yourself to flourish. So that's a big reason why I asked that. But yeah, that's why I say the pyramids are like that. So going back to all your experiences, or not even experiences, what are some of the, like, in your eyes, your best accomplishments? Because you have had a lot of goals, you have overcame a lot, endured a lot. Like, what do you think are a couple of accomplishments you're very proud of yourself for?
Oh, thanks for asking that.
Always.
So there's one thing in particular that really made me feel proud of myself, academically.
Okay.
I was always a girl that would have B's, sometimes A's, sometimes C's. Not the best student, and I didn't really think that I was smart. And then once I did my bachelor's and then I went to get my master's, I got in right away.
Okay.
After the interview, and I was floored. I was like, how did I just get in? That makes no sense.
You didn't think you were smart.
I didn't think I was intelligent. And then we had to do a group project, which lasts about 4 months, where you have to create a company.
Okay.
And so I created a company against, it was about 6 other teams. These people went to go work at Google, Chanel, like Pinterest, top companies.
Wow, okay.
And I created a SAP Oracle system. I created an app, essentially.
Okay, yeah, I was about to ask. You had to...
yeah. So I created an app, basically, that would help during your travel process at the airport. And I won.
Wow.
And to this day, I won, like, with flying colors.
Okay.
At the end, I even had investors coming to me. And I was like, what?
Did you take it and run?
No, I didn't. I actually did not. But I just didn't understand how I won. So it made me kind of believe in myself again. I was like, if I put my mind to something, I can do it.
Yes. 100%.
You can do more things than you realize. And that day I was like, maybe I'm smart. Maybe I can do things that I never in a million years thought I could do.
Well, this is a huge topic that actually the last podcast we talked about relating to education, as you said. You didn't think you were smart.
No.
Now, what did they say? That's a cognitive intelligence, right? Like tests and everything. But what we talked about is how we think everyone has their own source of education. So, like, for example, someone could be really good with emotional intelligence and understand, like, people very well, you know, like psychiatrist almost. I think a big source of, like, my education per se is, like, podcasts. Remember I brought up Joe Rogan to you on the phone? You didn't know who he was. But if you ever looked into him or look into him, he is like almost like a source of education for myself. So how I'm saying this to you is that almost at the time you may have not saw this, but you probably had a source of education that you had no clue existed because you were so focused on the cognitive education, you know?
Mhm.
Do you think there was a source of education that you almost understood better, and that may be why you
I think
overcame that?
something that I don't want to say if it's true about myself or not, but I can easily see an easier way to do things.
Okay.
So, and I feel like I can feel people's emotions, and I know what will work and I know what will not work. Like if that makes
Like with another individual.
so. So, for example, if you want to build a company, one of the best ways to build a company is to make something easier for people. So you have to cut out steps to make something simpler, more user friendly.
Yes.
And basically, by finding that small solution of making something simpler, you can be successful.
You're finding the niche in the system.
Finding the niche in the system, and I think that's what I also did with my my blog and my social media. I found what made me different. I observed what had the highest engagement. I continued to make content in that same realm so that I would continue growing. So just observing people's emotions and making things simple.
Well, you see, that could be your whole source of like
If that made
a
any
source
sense.
of education. You had no clue.
I don't even know what that is, but
Hey, at least you're honest. I like that you're 100% honest. But do you think that's really like accomplishment of yours you're very proud of? That almost like gave you that little push to be like, here, you can do a lot more in life. Let me show you.
that was it. That was the point. I went home. I actually passed out after I won because I was so exhausted
Yeah.
because I didn't sleep for 3 days. But I went home by myself and I started crying
Oh.
because I was like, wow, you can do what you put your mind to.
You can. I
And it was
truly
that.
believe that.
And ever since then, I've believed in myself more. When no one else believed me, no influencers weren't respected. They still aren't, but no one believed that I could quit my job or leave my job to be an influencer.
Do you think like social media influencers are like almost like a new type of celebrity or new type of like idol to younger kids and generations? Because I feel like I see them now newer and newer or different kinds of social media influencers.
For me, I don't think that they're a new type of celebrity. I think they're more of, relatively new type of marketing.
Marketing.
Yes. So we are a marketing platform. Companies used to pay so much money to have a billboard outside or a sign on a website, magazine, you'll see ads in it. We are a new form of ads for the consumer,
Just a real
directly
life
to the
ad.
consumer. We are real life, organic. You can get so much more people to buy a product by using influencers than a billboard outside.
Because they can almost persuade you more, not like
It's not just image branding anymore.
real life.
You're seeing it in use.
Yes.
You're seeing someone that you trust
Mhm.
in using that product, and they're telling you that it's good. And hopefully, it's someone that's not lying, because there's a lot of people like
Yes.
influencers that just say yes to every product, or which I say no to about 95% of things that come in.
You say
No to
really?
deals. Yeah.
Okay.
Because I want to make sure that every product works. I want to try products for at least a month before I even say yes
That's
or no
good.
about working with them. You have to stay authentic, because people can read that too.
Oh yeah, 100%.
People are smart.
Well, I can't imagine how many like sponsorships or like deals you get offered, because I feel like every day there's something new you're working on or like something getting sent to your house. Like
I feel like I'm just so used to it, I don't realize.
no, you know.
this dress, I just got it yesterday.
But yeah, exactly. Like it's something new every single day. I feel like it's just like a lifestyle now for you.
Yeah, and in clothes, like you're wearing clothes, you see someone wear it, you're like, oh, I like that on her.
Yes.
Where can I get it? You click on it and you get the dress.
Oh, I see exactly what you're saying. It's a real life advertisement.
It's a real life advertisement. So I don't want to say that. I don't think I'm a celebrity, but I think I try to help the best way I can with this platform that I have to help people make the right decision.
Hey, I like that a lot. I think it's very great. I think you're helping a lot of people in a great way.
Thank you.
Now we have to close out your glass blowing, you said?
Yes, I have a glass blowing class after this.
That is nuts. That's crazy. I never heard anybody say that before. But we'll wrap it up so you can get going.
Awesome.
Thank you so much, Leanne. I really appreciate this. You beautiful, beautiful apartment.
Thank you.
I know the audience is going to love you, love what you're about, love the conversation we had. You're a very exquisite and unique person, and I think more people like you need to be brought out and need to be expressed to the world
Aw.
and be shown. And it's clearly you're doing that in your own way. It's great. It's amazing. I love it. But thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for coming, and
Always.
you've just been so kind and outgoing, and I love talking to you, and I'm so excited for your podcast episodes, and I'm excited to see your journey and your growth.
Thank you so much. Thank you
Yeah?
so much. It means a lot coming from you, especially because
Oh.
you've been through a lot of it, I've been through the come up. So it means a lot to me.
Same for you.
Is there any last words you'd like to say to the people or like
To
anyone
the
in general?
people, thank you, merci for watching. You got this. Life is hard, but you're gonna do a lot better than you think you are. So bisous. À bientôt.
Well, thank you, everybody. Leanne Ansar. Thank you so much. I hope you guys took a lot from this conversation and gained a lot of knowledge. The Offscouring Odyssey, episode 6. Peace and love.